I have nothing against Susie. I think Susie Wiles is doing a fantastic job as chief of staff.
How much do you think of this is just media generated, like legacy media trying to disrupt, disrupt as much as possible? Like they're like these people. You think they're buying into what legacy media has to say, like almost like they're buying into like the anti things about you, or is it like we have a commenter right now that says that most of the anti-Loomer rhetoric originated almost a decade ago from never Trumpers? So do you think these people have just basically infiltrated the Trump regime, or and are trying to keep out loyalists?
There's a lot of people. I mean, look, I think that there are people on the inside who just don't want there to be any competition because they don't want to be showed up, right? Like I said before, I did a lot of work on my own accord during the campaign season, and it was noticed by President Trump, which is obviously why he wanted to hire me. And you have to ask yourself, like, how is it that the people who are either, working on his legal team and I'm not saying he had a terrible legal team because some of his lawyers are good. I mean, I like more than others, but you have to ask yourself, how is it that I, as an investigative reporter, was able to uncover stuff that certain people are getting paid millions of dollars to supposedly uncover, right? And so I think it threatens people's, and I'm not a lawyer, I think it threatens some people's professional security when they feel like, oh, look, President Trump is praising Laura Loomer, he's praising this person, and they're not like working within the administration, but they want to work in the administration, because some people don't want to feel like they have professional competition. I'm sure there's elements of that, but also too, the media just loves like using me as a hot rod topic to create controversy around the president, because they lie about me. They call me a white supremacist. They called me a 9/11 truther. They say a lot of nasty things about me, and they just make up lies because they don't like the fact that I do investigate and break a lot of stories, and the information that I break is very relevant to draining the swamp and helping ensure that America is kept strong. And I think that there are some people, not all, there's some people that still work for President Trump who I don't really believe truly are America first. And some people who work for him who would love to do nothing more than sabotage the good people around him.
Speaking of which, one of the silver linings of you being separate from the government, I think, is that it allows you to tell the truth about everything going on inside. And, everybody wanted to see the release of the Epstein files. And when they weren't quite released, a lot of influencers on social
media, the Bindergate. Yeah. So Bindergate. Yeah.
They pretended the files were released, but the real speakers on social media and a real journalist like yourself, you are out there calling out the truth more than anybody. For all the noticers that are, the Jews are covering it up. Myself and especially Laura Loomer calling for the release of these files. So, Laura, what do you think of Pam Bondi today? Do you think she's actually working to get the files out? Is it really the FBI in New York that's holding up the show? What do you think's going on there?
Well, I call her Pam Blondie because she's a bit slow, if you haven't noticed. I think she's auditioning for her job on Fox News. I don't really think that Pam Bondi does a good job. I'm not a fan personally. I mean, look, I know a bullshit artist when I can smell a bullshit artist and detect one from a mile away. And Pam Blondie's a bullshit artist. I mean, how is it the fault of the FBI office in New York when she said the files were on her desk? Did she not look at the files before making that statement? So either one, she's stupid because she doesn't proofread, which is, a big issue because she's the attorney general handling all sorts of classified information, or two, she's just a liar and she had no intention of releasing these files, and she lied when she said that they were on her desk. So it's always great to pretend like there's some, oh, wow, a big bad deep state boogeyman. Well, what happened? I thought that we've been celebrating over the last few weeks that the Trump administration fired the deep state, right? Isn't that what Elon Musk has told us, is that they fired the deep state? And look, I love President Trump. I'm not attacking the Trump administration, but two things can't be true. You can't be celebrating that you fired the deep state and that you're so amazing and you drained the swamp. And then at the same time, the deep state is what prevented you from actually being honest with the American people about releasing the Epstein files. So I think Pam Bondi has an integrity issue. She was the attorney general of Florida Of course, we're not allowed to talk about that, right? She was the attorney general of Florida when Epstein was getting away with raping all these underage girls and when he was carrying out his crimes. And yet she never did anything to go after him. So, how are we supposed to trust that Pam Bondi is going to release these files when she lied about having the files? She lied about releasing the files. And she also didn't do anything when she was the chief law enforcement officer in the state of Florida to go after Jeffrey Epstein. She could have shut that pedophile down if she wanted to, but she didn't. Why not?